Hey, outlaws, everyone else, welcome back. We are going to be covering my initial response to Skallagrim. And Skallagrim, if you happen to watch this, I don't know, I doubt you will because you haven't even bothered to watch you haven't bothered to respond to my comment I left here 3 days ago. So, if anyone's wondering, this is the initial response to Skallagrim's video. It's right here. There's a bunch of ads on it. I just didn't want to, you know. Anyway, so are giant swords actually good for something in real life? Okay, so I'm going to touch up on that whole title in of itself. What do I feel about the whole video right off the bat? I feel like there's a lot of hypocritical points. It deliberately, I believe deliberately, because I make YouTube videos all the time. I know people go in designing the script, an idea, videoing, and then editing, and then they have the opportunity to, if something doesn't come off right, to refine, edit, reshoot, whatever. I do think it purposely was designed to not only take a crap on what I've been doing for 2 years, but kind of almost like an assassination on the work I've been doing in Giant Swords in itself. I don't think it was ever meant to be an honest video. There are people that I know that are involved with the sword community. Pretty Hate Machining, Adam specifically left a comment basically agreeing, and I don't agree with what he said. But we'll get into that later. It's really not that important. Anyways, I just wanted to do his initial response. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to like duck your head down, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm going to respond, but this is the initial. This is not the polish. It's about to be Christmas. New Year's right around the corner. It's a fun, festive time. I don't really want to waste my time responding to, in my opinion, it's just a toxic video, but whatever. Anyway, so here's my response that I left. And again, I'm not like losing sleep over this, but I just, if someone uses your video and takes a crap on you, you probably should respond to it. So here we go. Sweet. I'm going to enjoy doing responses, and I will. I'm going to have a great time responding to this one, but I'm going to probably do several. Now I see where all the comments come from. So, a lot of the points you made in this video, I've heard probably over 100 times in the comment section, and when I look at my demographics, like where my audience comes from, I don't know if people know this on YouTube, but you can look it up, see where's your audience coming from, what channels do they watch, where are your sources coming from. A lot of them lately for the past few, like almost a year, have been from Skallagrim and from Discord. So my assumption is this has been planned for a while in his Discord and just blah. And I'm because it's like I said, a lot of these things he says on this video, I've heard people say 100 times. So it is what it is. Our baby, yeah, I don't know, whatever. Moving forward. So it is what it is, but I also like, hey, nice armor, dude. So yeah, he basically mocks me using motocross armor, and I've got it right here next to me. So I don't really feel like just throwing on some medieval accurate armor or having a gambeson or even like a chainmail hauberk or a helmet really qualifies you any more or less to give your opinion on anything medieval sword related. Like, I know they say the suit makes the man, but honestly, it's like a lot of HEMA practitioners will probably dunk on me of this. I kind of don't care. You guys really aren't wearing anything that much more advanced than motocross armor. Okay? You've got a lot of hard plastic different places. Granted, some of you do wear steel, and I'm talking about like the ones that wear the full polyester suits, little padding and stuff, and then they wear like what's basically the equivalent of baseball armor like over their legs and whatnot. So I don't really understand the dunk, but I think it's just an elitist mindset. Anyways, the whole purpose of this is just protect me from my live blade, my very live, dangerous steel blade, from cutting me up. Because it has done in the past when I chose not to wear anything at all. And I found it works very well. I have not suffered any cuts since I put this on. It breathes wonderfully, and it does the job. It's like, you can kind of see it. It is hard plastic, and it absorbs the cuts. This was never designed to be used for sparring, and I wasn't going to spar in it. And some of the stupidest things I've seen in my comment section is people assuming that if I'm going to attack somebody or get in a fight with somebody, I'm going to be wearing this. Like, no. I'd be wearing steel plate. Anyways, so it's very breathable. It's wonderful. And to be honest, in the past when I have fought, I fought SA quite a bit. Bunch of different groups over like a decade ago, and I did like live steel for like a minute. It wasn't really that long, obviously, because I have no videos of their pictures. I do have pictures of my SCA armor and stuff. I'll put it on later. A lot of people did not wear historically accurate armor or historically accurate padding or anything else because it's very uncomfortable and it doesn't breathe well. And in all honesty, let's just cover this right now. Nobody's going to war with medieval weapons. I'm not going to war with my giant sword. I'm not going to war with the Zweihander that I sometimes use from Cold Steel. And Skallagrim's not going to war with his stuff. Nobody's going to war with medieval weapons. So the whole argument with this title about good for something in real life, I really think that's just a straw man. It's really a non-argument. Like, honestly, no swords are good in real life. I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps as an infantryman, training with modern weapons, machine guns, explosives, missiles, all sorts of stuff. HIMARS, really crazy things that most people don't really like to think about. We did not use swords. In fact, we really weren't even issued our K-bars. Because it's like, dude, you're not really going to go one-on-one. Does it happen? It does happen. Yes, it does happen. But it's less and less likely. So the whole thing with like, this has to be practical and no, it has to be realistic and actually it is practical realism. What the hell am I even talking about? That's what I'm saying. It's a non-argument that people's argument like, oh, it has been used in medieval times. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Never has to be. A lot of things exist today that didn't exist back then. Back then sucks. It sucks. Their quality of life was trash. Okay? Most of you watching this right now, you live a better life than kings and queens back then. You can order something on this magical device and have people come bring you food. Like a king. And this whole thing of like, well, it wasn't done back then, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it would have been used for this. Like, dude, like, one, their metal processing capabilities and their technologies was trash compared to today. This is, like, I believe it's AR 500 hard steel or some kind of hardened steel. Very powerful. It probably could deflect rifle rounds if I held it just right. It definitely could deflect and stop pistol rounds, I can tell you that much, and shotguns, and a lot of things. So I really find it ridiculous. We keep bringing up back in the medieval ages. Like, that's not even what the whole point of my channel is. My channel has always been, can you wield giant swords? Yes, done that. You can wield them. Can they be effective? Yes. Now, let's attain some world records and really push the envelopes and push the human boundary limits of what is possible. And I put these on a lot of comments all over the place, over and over and over again. And this is why I really feel like Skallagrim purposely misrepresented my channel just to get a quick view and dunk. And honestly, the fact that he hasn't even bothered to respond to this, but he's made sure to go through and respond to people that took a crap on me too, I think really reinforces that he wasn't really willing to sit down and do his homework. He was just looking for a quick kill so he can get some views and bump up his channel, which from what I understand and what I've seen of his videos, because I was subscribed to Skallagrim. I was. It's now past tense because I have absolutely no respect for how he represented my work at all. And anybody who does that to my work without even bothering to look at what I've done, like actually look through the videos of the channel and just takes a crap based on one like small short, tells me a lot about somebody. So yeah, that's I got nothing more to say about that. So I really feel like it's really just a non-argument. Let's move forward. All right, the video comment on seems to disappoint my goal. I already talked about that. My goal: giant swords, develop techniques, get world records, and then go back and then get higher world records. Basically, what I called the Berserk Dragon Slayer challenge I started 2 years ago was 100 humanoid targets, 6 meters apart, total 600 meters, destroyed time with a giant sword. And there's tons of other world record attempts I want to make too. But anyways, let's keep moving forward so we don't slow down because I don't want to go on to a rant. All right, I never said it was the best melee weapon or that should have been used in the air. Nope. Nowhere do I say it. And if it is, it's probably just a troll comment I responded back to somebody because I was sick and tired of them being dumb. I never said anywhere that this was the best melee weapon, most unstoppable of all time, because that's a stupid thing to say. Most weapons depend on the skill of the user, depends on the terrain, hence why I always train outside. You watch my videos, I train outside. I don't go in a nice, cushy, warm, comfortable little studio or arena to go fight in. I take my punk ass up outside. Like, I have to travel long distances by foot to get to my training area. So when people talk to me about like, oh, you'll get stuck in the mud. Like, dude, I train in the mud. Okay. I train in the mud. I train at night. I train in the cold weather, rain. It doesn't matter. I train. there's anything I got out of my 8 years of experience in the Marine Corps, which I'll touch in a little bit more again, is that if it ain't raining, you're not training. You have to train for the worst type of situation. And the funny part is, I never was training to attack anybody because I thought it was stupid. And I'll touch a little bit on this later. All right. Though I will put that to the test on my channel in the future. And I will. I have no problem testing things out. I have a problem with people telling me you have to do X, Y, Z, otherwise it's just not practical. It's very practical. It's a very practical and effective sword. It does everything a sword needs to do. Just because it's like you have, like, there's somebody always finds reasons. I think the last one, like Skallagrim here was like, well, it can't do the little flourish montante spin. It doesn't need to. It doesn't need to do multiple strike hits. It doesn't need to like trick somebody out and redirect. This thing's coming for you. You either get out of the way or you're going down. It's not safe for humans. That's why you can't spar with it. Yet. Mech suits, everybody. I'm thinking mech suits and robots, but we'll see. Anyways. Okay, so I do admit I troll people. So maybe some people think I do. I don't know. Anyways, so here we go. My goals in training are about testing the limits of the human body wielding giant swords and on further developing my giant sword techniques, which I call the Colossus form. Yep. And then seeing how far I can go. And I say right here, I have no problem being humble. I'm no anime character, and I have a lot of improvement ahead of me, but I'm getting better all the time. That sounds horrible. I have no problem being humble. I am way more humble than you. All right, my goals, I think I repeated myself, are to train, practice. Sorry, I repeated myself twice, so you're going to hear it twice. My goals are to train, practice, further develop my giant sword style, class form, and show what giant sword can be wielded. I never really planned on dueling anyone since I thought such a thing absurdly dangerous. And I do. I think it's really freaking dangerous. One of our last videos that we've done, we did it with a motorcycle helmet. The motorcycle helmet took it, broke through. It didn't cut through it. You can see it's on a short. Broke through, popped it. But what that short doesn't show you, because you got to go watch the videos, ADHD children, it caves through, breaks the skull, caves it into two different parts, and it snaps it off the spine. And this was made by Ballistic Dummy Labs. Those people have done a fantastic job. They make a living off of making their dummies as realistically possible as human possible. I think they say it's at 95% accuracy. Can I have something to drink, please? Okay, so, but it turns out that an enormous amount of online enthusiasts decide that they want to see it enraged and streamed and hollered. I had so many people tell me, I've had a person tell me that I have to kill somebody in order to prove that this works. I'm like, that's absurdly stupid. Or they make dumb arguments like somebody said, what are you going to do, kill a cow? No, I'm not going to kill a cow. What? No.
Well, buy your cows at the grocery store like everybody else.
I do. Buy local. Anyways, so that's the thing. And I really think you too, also, again, Skallagrim, have purposely misrepresented what I was working on. And I don't much appreciate it. So, yeah. Anyways, this is like the initial... I get it. You're a big YouTuber. You got to make money. You're like, easy kill. Let me just go in for it. So, and the fact that you never responded to my comment here kind of just, I think, reinforces what I'm saying. Okay. Let's move down. So now part of the test show. No, now part of my effort right now on my channel is to show can they be sparred with. Hence why I ordered a bunch of ballistic gel dummy skulls, armor pieces, which you're going to see more of soon. And also, I sacrificed my motorcycle helmet, and I even have a special gift for you, Skallagrim. I have a HEMA helmet, and I'm going to name that skull after you. Sort of. It's going to be Skallagrim, not Skallagrim. So, and it's a joke. Calm down. It's not anything crazy. It's not like a underhanded threat. It's just me being a bit trolly.
I mean, Camille wanted
just a little bit. I mean, you did come to my channel to talk crash, so, you know, maybe you just wanted some more attention. Well, yeah, obviously you wanted attention. Okay, so let's go down here. So when I said practical, I did not mean by any shape, way, or form easy or most efficient. Although, to be honest, a lot of these tests, this for a giant sword, I tell people all the time, for a giant sword, it's very practical. It's a very practical giant sword. And it is. It is practical. It works. It does everything it needs to do. And no, I don't think I need to go kill somebody with it to prove that it is practical. And you can do your little... Like, ooh, top quality entertainment right there. Anyways, so initially when I said a long time ago with the bucket, Stupid bucket video. I swear, if all the shorts to go viral, that one went viral.
A year ago.
Over a year ago. They're still talking about it. The skull's way better. Go check out the skull if you don't know what I'm talking about. Skull video's way better. The sparring test series that we're doing are fantastic. Okay, so practical. It's an adjective. It's used to describe something. Of or concerned with the actual doing or use of something rather than with theory and ideas. Remember, giant swords were a theory, an idea. Yeah, but yeah, whatever. And then people tried to wield giant swords like they wield regular swords or montande. And Skallagrim's guilty of that too. He tries to wield it like it's a Zweihander. It's not. It's a giant sword. Wield it like a giant sword. You're going to wield it differently. And that's a lot of problem with these naysayers, is that they refuse to accept that just because it wasn't in your treatises and your manuals doesn't mean that you can't create something new and move on to something else. And that's what I'm doing. I'm creating something new. Something that can be used by modern people, because we have way better health, again, than we did back then. We have way better resources. We have way better metal. You have said several in your videos I've watched in the past, Skallagrim, that, hey, metal refining processes are way more advanced. And they are. There's not some lost magical art of, oh, the steel will just never be as good as before. No. Steel's way better than it's ever been. We build giant skyscrapers out of modern steel. It's the best. So it never had anything to do with like it was better than any other weapon, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to waste my time online fighting with fanboys and fangirls over their particular weapon that they're in love with, okay? Because we're not going to war with it. If you want to do it for hobby, great. If not, whatever. Which brings me to my point. My biggest point. Skallagrim, I'm going to be challenging you to spar. Yep. I know you're like, what the heck? You're a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You say you didn't want to spar. You're right. I don't, because I think it's dangerous. Which is why, and let's be honest, I don't think you would show up if I like challenge you to spar with this. I don't think you'd show up at all. So, in fact, you may not show up anyways, regardless. So, but I am going to say this. I am challenging you to spar. This is not the official challenge. I'm still looking into it because, one, I want to make sure that you feel safe, that we are safe, that everybody has a good time, and that it is tests. It is for tests and excitement, and a bit of a bitter match here. There's some animosity going on, there's a little bit, but also make sure it's legal, safe, everybody's properly insured. I want to make sure we have security. That way we don't have a bunch of random crazies showing up, all that stuff, and that everybody can come in together and do a really good sparring match, and maybe have a bunch of people do it. I don't know. But more details out later. Okay, so let's move forward. Just FYI. I don't think you're going to accept, but I am challenging you. And if you don't accept the challenge, I mean, we can talk details out. I'm not opposed to it. Again, this is just the initial responses, like the official. I am more than willing to discuss things with you and adjust it and make sure that you're safe. Predominantly, I want to make sure you're safe, which is why I'm actually willing to start putting together a giant foam sword. Not like the one Shadiversary made, because that's not, yeah. But one that's like closer to my weight that we can test out. But really, it is what it is. We'll get to that one later. All right. Giant swords are not as fast as regular swords. That's true. But to be honest, this thing, I'm getting faster with this thing all the time. Sometimes I surprise myself how fast I'm able to go with it. And as I develop more and more workout techniques, like the one right here, because I do have an Instagram. Most people didn't forget about that. Here you see me training. I bumped up from 56 pounds to 62 pounds. And yeah, it is sped up just so that the ADHD children watching it don't get bored. But it's really just, it's more like documenting what I've done working on it and improvement. So don't get too wrapped around the axles with that. Or you can. I don't really care, because it seems like you have no problem misrepresenting people's work. But anyways, so what they lack in speed, though, they make up for impact. That I have pushed forward big time. So we've done testing with it, like modern body armor here. Armor piercing protection body armor, soft body armor right here. I think this was the level 3, this level 3A, was a level edge 1 protection, which FYI completely just devastated. It's a fantastic video. I do recommend you people watch it. I've also tested out jumping attacks, but let me not get to that point just yet. Their weakness is also their strength. This is one thing I've learned, is that it's just giant swords, they weigh a lot, but that also means that weight problem is then transferred onto your opponent as the weapon goes towards them. Okay. You yourself have stated that it's nearly impossible to block heavy weapons as a warhammer or halberd. Now add 40 pounds to that, and you have something that can never be blocked and delivers devastating force that even negates armor and delivers fatal blunt force trauma through it. So far, I found that the human spine or joints break before the armor does. More testing to follow. I'm always willing to test. Okay, we've got, like I said, a HEMA helmet. We also have a 16 gauge helmet over there, which both you and Shad have admitted in the past that 16 gauge. It's mild steel, but yeah, sure, why not? Mild steel is pretty historically accurate. That armor differences and thicknesses have been quite different throughout the ages, and I've looked into it too. You are correct. It generally ranges between like 1 millimeter to 2 to like 4 millimeter, like really depending on what it was for. So we've got this bad boy right here, 16 gauge, mild steel. We're going to test that out. What I think is going to happen, I think this is going to cave in quite a bit, and I think the neck of the skull is going to snap right off. But we'll be testing that here pretty soon. Same thing with the HEMA. I think the HEMA mask, unfortunately, is going to get destroyed, and it's going to be unusable. Yeah, it's not like the best, and by no means am I saying like this is like represents the top technology, top tier of medieval armor. I know that would be a quick attempt that you guys would probably try to make. It's not like hardened armor, but honestly, I think it accurately reflects the type of soldiers, swordsmen, foot soldiers, low-born knights, low-born nobles that would be the ones most likely sent in to go fight a guy like myself who actually had a giant sword. Would I think it would be any different with hardened steel? No, I think it would dent less. But I think what would happen was like same thing with like the motorcycle helmet. You're just gonna snap the spine. You're just gonna break the joints, and you're just gonna deliver like very fatal internal trauma to the body. So we'll see. And then yeah, here's this. It's actually nice. I wish I didn't have to destroy it, but I do. And then obviously my blade will probably get a little jacked up too. But whatever. It's a giant sword, so that's what it's supposed to be for, right? Overwhelming destruction. Okay, let's take a look at here. We got that point. So when I first started, I was really slow. And that's true. I was very slow. I was not fast at all. In fact, like I said, like these people say, like, man, you really improved. You went quite a bit. But here's my problem with what you stated in your video regarding my testing ballistic dummies. You're a hypocrite. Dude, where is it? I got it down here. You and so many other people, everyone does tests. This is your channel, by the way, and others, with ballistic dummy skulls. And that was the point of my test upon the video that you purposely misrepresented. And you did it on purpose. Furthermore, like the whole, like, oh, if he was just, obviously he's not just going to sit there and take it. Well, that applies to you too in your tests. And again, that's purposely misrepresenting what the purpose of my test, which was to show what damage can be done with the giant sword in a controlled environment. Of course, it doesn't accurately represent whether or not someone was dipping and dodging, but you have also done similar tests for you. So do you think now that just because mine weren't moving, that yours are somehow more official and better? Because your targets weren't moving at all. Neither were those people. For example,
Eric was aiming for the eye socket, but ended up glancing off the cheekbone. Hitting such a small target with a slender point is not easy at all.
Hitting such a small target with a slender point is not easy at all, i.e. the eye socket. But let's be honest, he had the whole face to aim for. So he still hit it, but he didn't hit it perfectly. And further into your video, now granted, the quality of this ballistic dummy, I will call into question. I will give you that. It does seem a bit hard. But again, my point stands, and then here it is with your boys and you testing it out, and I believe at the very end...
Poems deserve more love.
Nice.
The
person is standing still. It's not moving. So does that make your test more legit than mine? Well, David, this was used back medieval, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But that's not my point. My point of my test that you, once again, that you dunked on was showing how deadly giant swords are with ballistically designed human ballistic skulls. And the interesting part too I want to touch on is that you complained later on in your video about pains to your hand. And a good point I want to mention is, again, with giant swords, their weight is also their disadvantage, but also is their advantage. There is no shock transfer to your hand when you wield giant swords and you swing down, you hit something. Because most of your targets are going to weigh less, or at least have less dense matter than your sword. So there is no energy transfer that jacks up your hand. Meanwhile, this one did. Okay. And then the same thing too is like slow. Like I'm just standing still. I won't go too much into it. You also made it sound like I'm just going to get there, like swing once, get stuck in the ground, and not be able to do it ever again. That I can only go up and down. Again, purposely misrepresenting what I was doing. All right, let's try that. Here's me jumping with it, and they're like, well, yeah, you really just proved us. Here's me. And I'll speed it up so we can move a little faster. Are they perfect? No. This was literally the beginning of my horizontal strikes. Let's go back to my midnight one. Uppercuts. Again, not perfect. Not perfect. But this was over like a year ago. I could swing that bad boy up pretty good now. Recently on one of our tests, not only did we decapitate a skull, but we actually slapped it in the face. The video is actually literally uploading as I'm talking. So, no, dude. And again, where is it? My endurance training. Here's me sprinting. Or running, I guess. Eat it! Hey, all. So today we're towards a movement to test out. I could jump with it. Ran around the entire damn park with it, jog. Did side shuttle hops with it.
Not to mention, in order to get that sword to that park, it's like a quarter of a mile.
I had to travel a quarter mile with just holding that damn thing in my hands. So, you're really, like, I guess, I know, you probably could go, oh, well, actually, and have yourself, like, running, whatever, with a sword. That's not the point. Point is, you're not as landlocked as you try to represent me in the video. Like, and again, I admit it, I'm still a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I'm not unstoppable. I'm getting better all the time, which I'm proud of, and I've come a long way. So this completely stamped, like Skallagrim says, nah, it's only good for like my wooden sword practices, my Montante moves, is dishonest completely. Okay, let's just go ahead and finish this and wrap this up. I'm able, and that's like a small example, and I know I got to do better, get updated more, and I will. But again, it's getting better all the time. I'm able to swing, cut in the other direction. Yep, we're comfortable doing sprinting attacks, running attacks. I do. There's the ones where I'm literally running in the middle of the night, and I swing down, I cut freaking a pumpkin in half pretty accurately, which is nice. Control my weapons increase, and will continue to do so as I develop my class form techniques. And yeah, I'm gonna play some dress up there, Skallagrim. So. That's about it. By the way, I did think this was funny. The guy says it takes guts to wield a sword that big, so I did give him a thumbs up. So that's my initial response. It's kind of long, but if you're just going to ignore me, I might as well just give something as a response, because, yeah. I just didn't really want to waste time doing a full official response, which you will get, just not right now, because I have other things to do. So anyways, Outlaws, if everyone watches at the end, I know it's kind of like wasn't really scripted, wasn't really the best to try to do that, but hopefully at least somewhat my point got across, and you enjoyed that. Skallagrim, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna kind of shrug at this whole situation because it's kind of dumb, but like I said, you have been challenged. I'm wanting to do a spar with you. Let's do this. Obviously you won't be doing with this thing because that's not safe, but like I said in the middle of this video, I am willing to put in the work to develop a sword, a giant sword that can be safely used to spar, that has the heavy weight. I don't know if it's possible. And again, you could say, no, I'm not going to do that. And you probably will. And let's be fair. Normally, I would say yes, but unlike most of the random commenters that want to go fight you all the time, I'm sure, on your comment section, I'm a guy you picked a fight with. And I'm a guy that you've completely misrepresented. So if you say no, as far as I'm concerned, you're just proving my point. You're just not willing to put them, you're just not willing to put your neck on the line. And like I said earlier, I'm willing to go through the pains and the troubles of making sure it is safe, making sure it works out for everyone, that you are going to be as protected as possible, and all that stuff. But I thoroughly believe that if you really believe that is not practical, then I guess it's time to fight, man. So anyways, everybody else, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're going to do. Hope you have a Happy New Year if we don't see you again. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping for a better response to all my work, but I guess this is all I'm going to get for now. Outlaws, we'll see you next time.